All right. We'll just say it after last episode, so episode 11, Kyle and I were trying to figure out who the next spirit was. And did we learn something? And so this is going to be a bridge episode between episode 11 and episode 12. And we're going to let you in on what we discovered. And I'm handing that over to you, Michaela, for some reason.
Okay. So at the end of the last episode, there was some confusion there, as Danielle was saying. He was trying to guide me to it's Tiamat, but he wanted me to say it, and I couldn't because that wasn't what I was getting. It wasn't coming up for me. I had no connection to it. I was just drawing a no on that. But what I was getting was a very clear 3D, 5D actually, full color Gaia. That's what I was getting. And I'm still getting it. And I was just
Mm.
fully into Gaia. And so we had that little dance at the end there, trying to figure out, well, how do I get to what he's saying from what I'm saying?
Right.
And so we both faced something at that point that we've alluded to before, we've described it, but we actually experienced it in that moment in real time for you all to hear. And that is, there was a moment where I could have said, "Oh, you're right. Yeah, it's Tiamat." And I could have gone there and figured it out later because
Mhm.
it wouldn't have been honest. It wouldn't have been true. That wasn't what I was getting. At the same time, Danielle could have said, "Oh, yeah, you're right. It's Gaia. Gaia's been here before, but it's Gaia."
Mhm.
And he could have come my side and said, "Yes, that's what it is." But in that moment, we both stuck to our own ground and said, "No, I'm not getting what you're getting." And so we explored that after the podcast and decided to record it now as a bridge because what we've realized is we've been talking about it's time to do, we've been describing how it is, different deities, we've done a lot of preparation work. And September's going to be different. And now we've realized a few more things about that. And that is
Yeah.
we have a dual path. That means Danielle's going to be doing his stuff, and it will be Tiamat, and I am going to be doing mine, and it's Gaia. Yes, I'm very much in process with Lilith, and Lilith is present in that, but not active. It is Gaia for me in the next episode. And so that shows so many things to you of what we've just been talking about and talked on these different
Right.
episodes. Being true to your own power, being true to what you get and not worrying about what other people are saying, because what Danielle has is correct for him. It
Right.
would not have been correct for me. I have no connection to that. I'm not feeling anything. It's a dead end. But Gaia is alive for me. And if Danielle had tried sticking to the same lane, it wouldn't have worked for him. So
Right.
it's important to follow your own path. And it doesn't mean that it's against anybody else's path. I am looking forward to seeing in future episodes how these two paths feed each other or somehow connect. I don't know. We haven't done it before. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that lands and what kind of work we end up doing. So this is a whole new thing. Yeah, and we've just discovered that that's the case.
Yeah. It's our, and it's definitely our big example of when we say, for community now, think about do your thing and the byproduct of your work will help someone else. And this seems to be what's going to be happening. at least going forward into the next episode. We'll see what goes beyond that. But even like as we're talking about this right now, I can see Tiamat and Gaia talking to each other and making plans.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Often at the end of podcasts, we have conversations that give us all kinds of insight into where we were going with that, because some of it's not clear to us at the time either, but we go through it because it's there to be gone through. And now this is actually very cool. So this bridge is offered to you as an explanation for the chaos at the end there, and the shift that's going to be obvious next time as we each bring our own thing to the party. So yay.
Yeah, and it's a good way to end a discussion with Kali, because she was about own it, and we owned it, and now we know that's because there's two things to do, not just one.
Right. And if we had let story get in the way, or the urge to be on the same side, in air quotes, that would have messed up what we're supposed to be doing. And one of us would be on the wrong track,
Right.
And the other one would be trying to make it right.
Yes.
And that it may have worked, but it wouldn't have worked well, and it wouldn't be what it needs to be, which
would have been very unsatisfying for sure.
It would. So whatever's coming up next, this is going to be really cool. This is going to be fun for us, at least. Like, so
and that's what starts, right? If the hosts or of the podcast are excited, then you can share that excitement. But if they're not excited, I almost think like what the next episode would have been like if one of us would have given in.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been very satisfying, and one of us would be spending an awful lot of time frowning and kind of trying to figure things out mentally, like using the brain rather than everything else.
Right.
Because thinking through everything isn't your best source. It's not where the information is. Dreams, the reason you get so much work in your dreams is because it's your subconscious. It's not in the realms of something you can tap into when you're awake. And that's it's a proven thing, but it's also a gateway to everything that's not in the physical world.
Right.
Just yeah. Anyway, that came up, so I threw that in as well.
Yeah. You can actually take what we're talking about right now and use this whole metaphor of like sometimes you need two people to do something and see what's the best solution comes out of by letting different teams, like there's competitions like that, right? How do like for think of SpaceX, like to replace who are launching or to replace the shuttle that was retired, and find a new way of launching into space. There was a competition. SpaceX, I think, was the winner of that competition. That's why they got the contracts. But it's not that anyone's work was invalid, but it's like everyone competed to get to where we were the solution they were looking for. Whether it was
now we know certain things about the person that owns SpaceX. I'm not sure that it was because they had the best solution, but anyway.
But the idea being that you can like Mikhail and I are working for one goal, but the idea of a bunch of people doing magics they need to do, even if they seem contrary to each other, it's still to achieve something. And whoever
there's many paths. There's many paths. And I mean, we've basically been saying this all the way through that, do it your way and what calls to you and what's interesting and so on. And we're now giving you an example of that. Like this is one way where that can show up. It's not just, do I choose to use water or crystals? And right. Yes, or both. But it's not that kind of choice only. It's also moments of truth like we had at the end of that podcast with, am I gonna go with something I'm not fully getting in an attunement kind of way? And the answer was nope, not gonna do that. And it's a good thing because now it's going to be so much richer. Right. With Daniel going his path, and I'll be able to see that from a little remove, right? I'm not in it. I'm observing. And likewise with whatever I'm doing with Gaia, you'll be observing and not necessarily in it. So this is going to give different information.
Yeah.
This is going to bring up different perspectives again, different again, another layer, right, that we hadn't thought of before.
Yeah. Then for you guys, right? Remember at the beginning of the year, we started off doing spells together.
Right.
And then, I mean, like we started off, there's a few times where we did a spell at the same time. And then we each either took a turn and then one would contribute to the other spell. But now we're doing our own, concentrating on our own, and still for a similar goal. So it should be interesting to see what's to learn coming soon or going forward.
Yeah. Oh, I'm looking forward to it. It's exciting. I haven't done this before.
Mm.
So, yeah, that'd be very cool. So there you go. That's the bridge.
Yep. And so thank you for listening to this episode and for giving us an opportunity to share to you what happened after. Because as Mikhail pointed out, it was really important to share with you guys this. Because we did leave on that note of whatever. You say whatever you want, I'll say whatever I want, you know. But now we know why it was like that. So you can yeah, I'm not going to beat a dead horse to death. We'll probably pick up some of that on the next episode to talk about it. But yeah, so that's the message we wanted to share. So once again, thanks for listening to the Bridge episode. And à la prochaine.
À la prochaine.